and manipulate us.
Yeah.
And say, I was never here.
Yeah.
I am non-existent. And I gotta pick up my sharpener. This is not perfect. I'm sorry.
Okay. So Satan comes into our heads and says, you will never amount to much of anything. You cannot go far with this. You fill in the blank. You're not good enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not old enough. You're not young enough. You're not educated enough.
You're not, you're pretty much listed out all of the basic ones.
Right. You don't know anything about this.
You aren't creative enough.
Aren't creative enough. For our audience, why don't you fill in the blanks of what Satan's talking to you? For me, it's I'm too old.
For me,
it's all.
For me, it's I'm too fat.
She's too fat. I have too many wrinkles. Nobody's going to like what I have to say. Nobody wants to know what I have to say. So if this is something that you kind of identify with, maybe you could join the conversation.
Please do. We need comments.
We would love to have comments on this, because the whole idea for me and Meredith, but by the way, I'm Cheryl Stedman. This is my granddaughter, Meredith Thrash.
Sup? Flag.
And so we're doing this video in hopes that somebody will come along and they'll be listening to this, and it will encourage them.
This is a live stream, so people are going to hear this.
Live stream, but then eventually it's going to go onto the internet. So my purpose in all of this is that I can talk to someone that's having a difficult time dealing with their life, and they really can't identify with anything. They can't talk to people. Satan has put into their heads all kinds of excuses why they're not to open their mouth and discuss it. And we know for a fact that knowledge is powerful. And the more you know about who you are, and the more you know about the conversations that go on in your head, the better. And Meredith and I are having a conversation of what goes on in our heads. So I'm going to start the conversation out with what goes on in my head. I have a passion for Jesus. I love Jesus more than anything. But I'm also a person that all her life, I'm not special. Yeah, I've got a degree and I've studied the Bible, but as far as the world is concerned, I haven't made mega bucks. I haven't been in a prime part in a company, and I've just been a mom that raised 3 kids, and surprising enough, they're all doing well. And now I have a granddaughter that I'm trying to show her. So maybe you identify with me, or maybe you're young enough that you identify with her. So now that you know who I am, let me tell you who Meredith is. Okay, Meredith, who are you?
My name is Meredith. I'm 12 years old, going on 35. This is our phrase.
Yeah, she has wisdom. She's wise.
Thank you very much.
Most ways.
Thanks. I feel so loved.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
I'm not going to say any liberal stuff because I do not support that. But if that's who you are, then we love you. Speaking of, if you are going through a hard time, please, I'm trying not to make this one of those sad dog commercials.
Absolutely.
If you are going through a hard time, as she says, you can be identified with her, with me. You haven't known me that long, and you don't really know me because I haven't explained myself. We love you. We forgive you if you've done anything bad. Don't even know who you are? We love you. So I'm going to try to give you a hug. There.
Her famous hugs. Yeah, did you get that through the video?
Yes, okay. I did. So things that go through my head, I love to draw. Drawing is one of my passions. I don't know if y'all can see this. I love to sing as well. And a lot of the times, my brain, which is basically, this is Satan disguising as my own brain, saying, "You're not good enough. You're a horrible singer." And I probably sound bad on camera. But yeah, he says, "You're a terrible singer. You're a bad artist. You're not smart enough to do this. No one loves you. Go home. Go away. No one wants you." That has gone through my mind for quite a while. And I have been able to cope with it, but it's hard. Trust me, if you're identifying with me, it's hard. And this brings up another point that we had in another test video. Hopefully this one is going to be fully public instead of private, since the other ones are so bad.
I don't know. I'm not in your head. I'm not Satan.
I just had it and then it flew out.
Oh, a senior moment, and she's only 12. Wow.
It's you rubbing off on me. It's you rubbing off on me.
Oh, we were talking about how our words are powerful. Forgiveness.
So
okay.
Let's say one of the phrases is, "I'll never forgive you for what you've done."
Mm-hmm.
What if that person is tremendously sorry? That can lead into extreme sorrow, maybe even depression. That's happened to me. Only once, thank God. But if you say, even if it's behind their back, "I'll never forgive you for what you did." Words are the most powerful thing in this world. They are extremely strong, and if you say that, it doesn't matter who to, who about, it has a major impact on the other person's life. It's like the phrase, "I'll forgive, but I won't forget." Jesus, when you ask for forgiveness from Jesus, he says, "You are forgiven," and he throws that sin away. It's completely out. It's gone.
And I will remember no more. That's part of the book. Well, what about the person that said, "I will never forgive you"? What are the consequences for them?
For them, even if they do forgive, they would also feel guilt towards the other person, because I'm gonna probably go into a deeper state of depression if that person, like, let's say that person that you won't forgive broke your great grandma's vase that was really valuable and would have been over $1 million worth of money, and they broke it by accident, like purely on accident.
Gee, do you think she's talking about somebody that we know?
Are you talking about me?
I don't know. I haven't heard. It's not my vase. So go ahead. Anyway, we're not talking about Meredith now. We're talking about somebody else, an example. So
you're going off an example off of my example.
Yeah, I've lived a long time, and I've experienced people in my own family that have held a grudge and have not forgiven people. And it used to be I used to hear it say that the person that did the thing against them, they didn't have a problem with it because it was said, or whatever it did, it was gone. And the person that actually did it, they're not in that moment. But the people that had that whatever word said against them or things that said against them, they're stuck in that moment. And if you're one of those people that I will never forgive them, you're only hurting yourself, because those people have gone on. They're moving on, but you're not. And when we don't forgive, we stay in that moment. And there's a lot of things that's attached to this. I'll never forgive them. Well, I used to be taught, you never say never, because that will come back to haunt you. And I think this unforgiveness things does haunt us because maybe it's something so personal and so offensive to me that it hurt me to the quick. Well, okay, but there's somebody that can relieve us of that pain and heal that pain, and it's called Jesus. Jesus can come into your heart, and he can heal that so that you will forgive them and you will remember no more. Now, is that not a awesome suggestion? Would you like to get rid of these I'll never forgive them and the pain that is suffered, that you suffer with these? Well, if you do, Jesus is the guy.
He is. He's also helped in my life quite a bit, and I'm so blessed to have a loving family. If you don't mind me sharing your past,
No.
briefly.
Briefly.
Her parents didn't have time for her. Her father was off getting drunk. Her mother didn't have time for her, and her brother was out of the picture, basically. She really had no one, but now she has us.
Yeah.
Her daughter, her sons, her two sons that sent me art supplies for Christmas.
And Jesus.
And Jesus.
See, the word tells us that Jesus knows us so intimately that he knows how many hairs are on our head. And that blows me away. Just totally. Somebody start counting their hairs and see how far you get.
Probably you
can't.
You go as far as insanity.
You can't. So what he did is he introduced himself to me at a very early age, at 13. So I've been blessed all this time. And a lot of those years, I really didn't seek him out, but he sought me out. But anyway, so we're talking about unforgiveness. So I had to learn how to forgive family and friends, and how to forgive people that just I felt they did me wrong.
I feel like that a lot. But then no, I don't say it to them that I forgive them. I don't say. Maybe sometimes I don't say it. I forgive them, and then that's that. We forget, and then we move on with our lives.
Right. You don't have to go in and say, "I forgive you." No, you don't have to do that.
You don't have to make a big scene. You don't have to be Jesus himself. Jesus can do that himself.
Yeah.
Right.
But what you do is you just go in the quiet of your heart, and you got to remember that as long as that unforgiveness is down there in your heart, it's in your mind, and it's allowing Satan to deceive you with untruth, with lies, because he is the master of lies.
Yes, he is.
So maybe you have a different picture of the offense. Maybe the person that was offending you didn't mean to offend you. Maybe they were hurting and they struck out from their hurt. We don't know. But if you don't have a conversation, you'll never, ever know. So this is to build a conversation. Build a conversation and to understand what's in your mind. Because either God is in your mind or Satan is in your mind. They don't coexist.
No, they hate each other.
So, well, God doesn't. Satan does, but God doesn't.
True.
So this is something to get you started and to get you thinking. The things that I love questions that don't have answers. Because if you have questions that don't have answers, then you start thinking about an answer. Well, what does that mean? Well, if we don't start questioning our life and we question how we're thinking, how do we know what's on the other side of the coin? There's always more than one way to look at a situation. Always. It's never black or white. There is gray in between. It's not wrong. It's not right. There's something always in between. And that's where Jesus lies, because he's always in that. So this is just a beginning. And if you would like more and you have more thoughts on what Meredith and I are talking about,
Please comment down below. We need friends.
We need
Mainly,
friends.
mainly her. Please. I'm not doing this to be mean. She wants a friend. I'm not doing this to be mean. I'm being truthful.
Oh yeah,
She
right.
wants a friend, and I want her to have a friend.
Listen, I want you to be encouraged. If you're in a place where you're hurting and you don't think that you've got any alternatives, and go to keep your eye focused on Jesus. Hashtag KYEFOJ. You can go on to Facebook. You can go on my website, and you can contact me.
Ads are good. I'm advertising you.
Yes. So I do want you to understand that we're here for you, and we really do love you. And it really doesn't matter what you've done, where you've been, what you haven't done,
what you look like,
what you look like. Because look at us, and we're making a video. Come on.
Grandma, you're calling yourself ugly.
If we can do it, you can do it. So, okay. Bye-bye.
Peace. Yes, we want to end the stream.